Hey, good morning, Felicia.
Good morning, darling. How are you doing?
Okay, what are you doing?
Well, I'm actually on a break right now researching something.
Yeah, what are you researching?
Well, I'm researching on how to make yogurt because these days yogurt in the supermarket is so expensive. And I would like to learn a recipe to be economical and easier on my pocket, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, by the way, check me on the YouTube channel. And then share your brother share.
Okay.
Now, watch tutorial.
Okay, thanks.
Hello and welcome to the Livestock Extension Training on Yogurt Making. I am Reishma Sankar, the Livestock Officer at the Regional Administration North Division of the Ministry of Agriculture. Today, you will learn an easy and economical method to make your own homemade yogurt using powdered milk. Also, for persons who are lactose intolerant and vegan, I will show you how to make coconut yogurt using coconut milk. Okay. So, before we begin the yogurt making process, all utensils, equipment and kitchen countertop needs to be cleaned and sterile. So these are the utensils required to make yogurt. The thermometer is very important because it gives you an accurate reading. So if you don't have one in your kitchen, you need to purchase one. The wooden spoon to stir the milk, and then the whisk this is the whisk. It will be used in order to incorporate the powdered milk into a smooth consistency in the water. And obviously we have our measuring cups, and then our jars and our pots. So this is Mr. Fazir Ali. He's an AEA in the Livestock Extension Unit, and he always assists me when we are doing the yogurt making training. So what he's going to do now is he's going to show you that he's going to be washing and sterilizing all the pieces of equipment and utensils that we will be using. What Zero is doing here is simply filling the basin with hot water to sterilize all pieces of equipment. So I'm sterilizing all pieces of equipment into the hot water, spoons, even the thermometer. You can leave this to sterilize like for about 2 minutes. Usually between 1 to 2 minutes this is sterilized. And I'm using a tongue. Trust me, I need to use a tongue because this is very hot. I have to show you how hot it is. The water was over 150. Okay? Also sterilize my so I'm boiling my jars that I'm going to use and the lids to make the yogurt, because you want to use jars, glass jars and not plastic. And I will boil this for like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm using a tongue in order to move it around because remember this is very hot water, you don't want to burn yourself. Okay, so my jars are air dried as well as their lids, and drying off the utensils right now. So the pot I'm using is to create a double boiler for pasteurizing the milk and to heat the milk to reorganize the proteins for yogurt making. So we need a smaller pot, and I'm seeing the water is not actually touching, so we need more water in the pot. Okay, so I added more water in order for it to touch the pot because we want to create a water jacket similar to a pasteurizer. Because if you don't have a pasteurizer, you can actually do it at home. What I want to let you know is you want to have the good bacteria and not the bad bacteria. So what pasteurizing does is to eliminate the bad bacteria. Okay, so for 1 liter of milk, you can actually make 1 liter of yogurt. So you need to use filtered water. I'm going to measure 1 liter of this. That's exact. I'm going to put it in my bowl. Half and half. Because I don't want to make a spill. So the measurement for the milk is 1.5 to 2 cups of full cream milk. I use full cream milk because you get a thick, creamy yogurt using full cream milk. You can use low fat milk. It's your preference. So this is a half cup first. I'm gonna whisk this. Bearing in mind you want to whisk this to a smooth consistency. So you get at the end product, it will be smooth and creamy. Incorporated. So you see I'm using it 1 scoop at a time. This is 1 cup. And I'm going to be pouring a little more of the water. So I did say it's 1.5 to 2 cups you could use. I'm using today 1.5. So there. I had the exact amount. I still have a little remaining. So why I use it filtered water is because it has a close to neutral pH level and it actually allows an environment conducive for the bacteria to start to ferment. As well as there's no added chlorine and it's purified water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this now to the pot. Okay, so I'm going to clip my thermometer, and as you will see, the temperature is going up to 150. We want 150 degrees Fahrenheit in order to pasteurize the milk. Typically, pasteurization is 145 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So as soon as the temperature is reached to 150, I will cool it down to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm stirring and distributing the heat evenly in the milk because the proteins have been reorganized as the heat increases. They keep reorganizing and the texture and the consistency of the milk will change. Okay, so I'm taking this off the stove. Okay, so I set up my cold water bath in order to bring down the temperature from the pot. The milk must come down to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So you estimate about less than half of the bowl with some ice, and then you put it in. We don't want the water to come up to the pot where it will go into the pot, right? So I'm holding it here. It's a little too much. So what I'll do, I'll just empty out a little bit. There you go. Dance a little slide, but not too much. And what I'll do, I'll just put some ice around. So the ice will actually gradually melt down and allow it to cool further. Okay, so let's talk about the starter culture that can be used. You can actually buy the yogurt cultures online, but then it's going to be a little pricey for you. If you want to be economical, you can actually buy a plain unflavored yogurt at the supermarket, any brand, and use that as your starter. So when purchasing, look at the type of bacteria to ensure it is alive. Some cultures may have probiotics in it, and if they don't have alive on it, they will be inactive and will not ferment. I'm going to take out half cup, a small amount, in order to activate the bacteria. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the yogurt culture that I have here. This is 1. And this is 2. So I'm going to stir this in, and you will see how it starts to activate. So I'm going to pour this now into the main bulk of the milk, right? And I want to stir this in lightly, not vigorously. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to measure it out into the jars that I'm going to be culturing in. So I don't want too much right up to the top, just a little bit. Right, that's it. Alright, so it's not tight, it's slightly. I'm going to put it in a lined cooler with a towel, just to create that warm environment that it needs to actually start the fermentation process. And I'll leave this 6 to 7 hours, because today is around 34 degrees Celsius. But if it's colder, you will have to go a longer range, which would be like maybe 8 to 9 hours. So if you don't have glass containers at your disposal right away when you want to do this, but you have the sandy cup containers, you can use this. But you need to tape the hole, because you want to prevent the temperature from dropping, as well as you don't want any bacteria entering through here. Right, so I'm going to use what I had just to show you. Right? It's almost a liter. What I'll do, I'll write what is the time that I would put it inside of here. So the time that I take it out would be close to 6 to 7 hours. So it's 5 here, right? And I'll put it in here. just let me tell you that the culture we used was the Thermophilus starter. So that would have Streptococcus, Thermophilus, and Lactobacillus bulgaris. These will only be active at 108 to 110, 112 degrees Fahrenheit. So 6 hours has passed. I'm going to check it to see if it's ready. Now we need to tilt it in order to see if it's ready. This gives you the indication that it has fermented. See, it's fermented. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in the fridge to stop the fermentation process. So I'll refrigerate that for 4 to 6 hours and it will be ready. After that, you can eat it, enjoy it. Just bear in mind it's not sugar added. You don't have to add your sugar or any sweetener to your taste preference. So it's 4 hours, 4 hours has passed. Wow, look how thicker it got. It got thicker. Right? So I'm actually going to take a little bit just to taste it. My preference is without the sugar, but your preference may be with the sugar. This can last for 2 to 3 weeks. I don't recommend going beyond 2 weeks. For me, I use this out in a week. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make coconut yogurt as well, and this is the end product. It's out of the fridge. See how creamy. It's not going to be as thick as the normal milk, but it tastes even better than that. Okay, so you can use any coconut milk. It must be milk, not cream, because the cream is different. It's completely different to this. This has some added products in it. So similar Mabel's also has the same added products in it. West Indian Pride does not have as much of these products, but I recommend any of them to use. So you need also the cayenne pepper, because the cayenne pepper has Lactobacillus acidophilus bacteria at the top of it. So by the head here and underneath. I'll add some sugar to it because this will actually help the bacteria to activate and to start the fermentation process. So let's get started. Okay, so I emptied out the Mabel's coconut milk into my measuring cup. So I usually like to know how much I'm making, and it's 1.5 cups. And I'm going to put this now on my stove. So I have the pot up ready for heating up the milk. I'm going to flip this. I'm going to heat this up. So you want to get out as much as possible out of this. Remember, this is cream. And you'll see some bubbles here. So what I do, it's close to 120. Once it reaches 120, 130, that's good enough. And I'm going to take it down. So I'm stirring it to evenly distribute the heat throughout the milk. So it's 120. I'm gonna allow this to also heat a little more. because remember it's a product that was in a tin and you don't want any residual bacteria in the end product. Okay, this is sufficiently heated. Take it off. So he's transferring the milk for me. Yeah, try it. And again, we want as much milk as possible in this. We don't want to lose too much out of it, out of the 1.5 cups. Right? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the thermometer. So it's cooling down in the same water bath that I would have used previously. So what I'm doing is transferring this now to the container. Put the sugar. About 2 tablespoons. I'm putting the sugar and just adding it, just stirring it in a little bit, not too much, it's just to dissolve it. Make sure it's dissolved. Because this is for the bacteria to start activating. I think this is good. So I did mention that the cayenne has Lactobacillus acidophilus, and this bacteria actually resides right here underneath the stem and to the top of the pepper. So I'm going to put the stem and I'm just going to slit the top just like that and put it in. So for this mount I'm going to use 4. One didn't come out so good. I'm still going to use it. And I will slit it. So just to let you know, this does not impart the heat or the spiciness of the pepper to the milk. It's not. But it gives it a good flavor. And what I'm going to do is to cover this. Make sure it gets in. And it's covered. Now I put it back into my cooler. So you could actually, preferably, if you want to leave it outside if it's hot, you can. But I put it in the cooler because it's at a constant temperature. It does not fluctuate. And I would leave this for like 15 to 20 hours. You could go beyond 20 hours, you could go 24 to 48 hours, but then again, it's your preference of tanniness. It will be very tangy after 24 hours. So 20 hours have passed, and now I will be looking at it, making sure that it's good. Wow, that's the end product. It's creamy. So what I'll do, I can leave the cayenne peppers in it and put it in the fridge. So once that is in the fridge now, allow it to cool for 4 to 6 hours, and after that time, you can actually take it out and enjoy it. You can add your sugar and even your fruit. I hope you like these recipes, and I hope that you will try them. Bye for now.
Hey Kadisha, what are you eating?
Yogurt boy, I tried the recipe from the Ministry of Agriculture YouTube site that they showed me. It came out really good.
Get sure, can you get something?
Sure. That's right here. How it is?
You make it well.
Thanks.